What's up, guys? Wes Pruitt, 4 Star Sports Media. Hope everyone's doing well this Monday afternoon. It's Eclipse Day. It's about to get really dark in Arkansas, but it's really bright in Arkansas because Arkansas Razorbacks got a brand new basketball coach, and that is John Calipari. We'll be getting to that here to start the show. Then we'll dive into a wrestling event that took place over the weekend from Philadelphia that was quite entertaining, and that is Wrestlemania 40. We'll dive into a little bit of what happened as we'll stretch that out throughout the remainder of the week. Then we'll finish up with a little Memphis Tigers baseball and Arkansas Razorback baseball talk, as both teams were very successful over the weekend, and they both got some interesting midweek matchups before they face more conference foes coming up. All that and more today on the Sports Buffet right here on the 4 Star Sports Radio Network. Let's get into it, guys. All right, so to start off, let's go ahead and get this out of the way. SeatGeek is the official seat provider of 4 Star Sports Media. If you are looking for great seats, if you are looking for incredible prices, look no further than SeatGeek. Head over to SeatGeek now. Start you a promo. We have a promo code here at 4 Star Sports Media. It's right there on the screen for you. 4 Star Sports Media. Any ticket, $50 or more, you'll knock $20 off by putting that promo code in. When you take care of tickets, we take care of you. So if you need tickets, reach out. Head over to SeatGeek now. Get that taken care of. The big story of the day is the eclipse. No, actually, it's not. It is one of the big stories of the day, but it has been overshadowed, no pun intended, by John Calipari and the Arkansas Razorbacks. Wes Moore from Fox 16 in Little Rock, Arkansas would break the rumors. I say that because there have been rumors leading up to last night. The name John Calipari had been thrown around. We know John Calipari and John Tyson from Tyson Foods are very close, very good friends. We know John Calipari does enjoy Fayetteville, Arkansas, as when he is here, he eats at Herman's and other restaurants around town. And we know that he has always held the Arkansas job in high regard based on his time in Memphis. He spoke very highly of that position while he was there. Very tumultuous coaching carousel for the Arkansas Razorbacks and their fan base. Must bust heads out west. We talked to Jackson Collier about it last week. Then there was all the names. It was Chris Beard. It was Will Wade. It was then Chris Jans. It was then Darrell Walker from the University of Arkansas Little Rock. And then last night we would see possibly one of the biggest hirings in Arkansas history as John Calipari would make the jump from Kentucky over to Arkansas. There is a meeting scheduled today between Calipari and the Kentucky players at his house, 2 p.m. There in Lexington. I'm assuming that'll be to announce, officially announce that he is coming to Arkansas. We've seen numerous players hit the portal. I was on with Memphis Spence at 11:30 today talking about this exact topic. In that show, I told Spence there was 2 players on the roster. That is no longer the case, as Trevor Brazile entered the NBA draft right as I got off the show with him. So that is new news. As Trevor Brazile will go to the NBA. So there is now just one player, and that is an incoming freshman on the Arkansas roster right now. But John Calipari to Arkansas, huge, huge news. Thank you to everybody watching and listening right now. If you want to jump in the comments, jump over in the comment section. I'll pull them up on screen. I will definitely read them out during the show, get a little engagement going on. is perfectly fine. But when you look at the University of Arkansas, this is an upgrade from Eric Musselman. You're bringing an improving winner, not just on a national level, but at the conference level. John Calipari was 410 and 122 overall with a 198 and 65 record in conference play in the SEC. You go back and look at Eric Musselman's record. I don't have the record off the top of my head. I know it's not 198 and 65. Obviously, Calipari was at Kentucky longer than Musselman was at Arkansas. But when you look at Musselman, the highest he finished was second or third in the conference. He finished 11th his first year. He finished 11th this year. This is a big move for the University of Arkansas. It's got the fan base back excited. There's boosters excited. From our sources that we've talked to, the NIL money is not going to be a problem. Reportedly, he's going to have upwards of $6 million in NIL money. He'll be able to give his assistants around roughly $3 million. Big time money being spent right now on John Calipari and this Arkansas Razorbacks basketball program. Currently, Kentucky hasn't had the number 2 recruiting class. It has been reported by numerous sources that John Calipari will, as many as he is able to, be bringing players over from that class. If he can sway them to Arkansas, he will. If you're looking for a coach to come in and immediately fix a roster, look no further than John Calipari. You have found him. Proven winner. He's a master recruiter. We've seen this from his times in Memphis, his times at UMass, and others. Now, I will tell you this. There are some Arkansas fans that are going to need to issue not only John Calipari some apologies, but Hunter Yurachek. Hunter Yurachek was the greatest thing since sliced bread. Then he, quote, fumbled the Sam Pittman deal. Fans wanted Sam Pittman gone. Then Musselman leaves. Nobody knows what's going on. Rumor has it Chris Beard's coming. It's a done deal. Then Yurachek, quote, fumbled that as well. But now he brings in John Calipari. Definitely didn't fumble this hire. I think it's the best hire in Arkansas history. But there's going to, like I said, there's going to be some fans that are going to need to eat crow, put some barbecue sauce on it, whatever you want to do on it. But you're going to have to eat some crow and apologize to not only John Calipari, but more importantly, Hunter Yurachek, the athletic director. And I understand there's people out there that are saying, oh, all this happened behind Hunter Yurachek's back, that he didn't know. It was all the boosters. It was all the board of trustees. BS. You can say you're connected. I don't care. No hiring is going to happen without an athletic director signing off on it. The boosters, that's the money. The board of trustees, that's the acceptance. But to start a narrative that they went behind his back to work this deal is complete fabrication. And I don't understand why there's people out there that would spread things of that nature. But Calipari gets a fresh environment. It's a very unique environment. It's a very unique opportunity. Arkansas is the major team in the state. No offense to Arkansas State. No offense to any other university in the state. But when you get down to the nuts and bolts of it, Arkansas is the main team. They are the MLB team of the state. They are the NBA team of the state. They are the NFL team of the state. And you bring a guy in that knows how to get a fan base going, that knows how to recruit at a high level. Calipari's been to Bud Walton. He's been thrown out of Bud Walton. He understands what's here. He understands what's at Arkansas. The challenge is set. As we know from previous coaches, the expectations are extremely high. The question is, are many going to swallow the pride and support him? Or is it going to be, what have you done for me lately? If he wins next year, he brings in a top recruiting class, he wins next year, great. Can he keep the fans' engagement for years to come? I think he will. All reports are saying that he's going to sign roughly a 5-year, roughly $40 million contract. So when you look at Arkansas, you look at the hog call, it's going to have a different man leading it. He's trading in his Kentucky blue for Razorback red. Once again, got to give a shout out to Wes Moore. Fox 16, they're in Little Rock. He took the rumors and made them a reality by breaking the story last night. And it has set the college, or not even the college, the sports landscape on fire. If you got any questions, got any comments, got any concerns, anything like that, jump over in the comment section. We will get them answered. We're very, very, very interested to see what your thoughts are on this hire. The other question is, you've got guys that are entering the portal. Will these guys come over? You have guys such as DJ Wagner and others that were on that team. Will they follow Cal over? You got guys like Billy Richmond, played at the University of Memphis. His son, Billy Richmond Jr., talented player. He's now went to Kentucky, didn't sign yet, but he had committed. He's now reopened up his recruitment. That's going to be a big storyline. It's going to be and this story is just now getting started, folks. We're expecting a news conference to come as quickly as tomorrow here in Fayetteville for Calipari to be officially announced as the 14th all-time head coach for the University of Arkansas. Keep in mind, this story is still going to be ever growing. If you want to head over to 4star.live, we've got an article out. We put it out last night around 10:30 p.m. on this, that where the Razorbacks land a stunner and that Calipari takes the reins in Fayetteville. What a story. What a story. What's your thoughts? Do you like the hire? Do you not like the hire? A lot of people were complaining about Will Wade and how dirty he was, but they accepted it because they wanted the wins. And then you get Calipari. Some people here in the state have already saying that they can't stand the guy, but they're going to support him. But he's going to have to win. He's going to have to win now. And as I've stated numerous times, college athletics coaching in general is nothing more than what have you done for me, not just lately, but now. What are you doing for me now to make my team better? Calipari is going to do a lot. He can recruit. He's a good X's and O's coach. He's going to have good assistants. He's a lightning rod for attention. What else can you really ask for? Let's switch gears. We're going to jump over to Wrestlemania 40 as we saw the grandest stage of them all take place from the Link. They're at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And what a night. It was a 2-night spectacle. You had WrestleMania Night 1 on Saturday night. You had WrestleMania Night 2 last night. We'll get into it deeper as the week goes, but I just want to briefly just talk a little bit about the event as a whole and how we would see for what I think is one of the first times ever. It's a new era. We would see Triple H, Paul Levesque come out night 1, introduce the crowd, and he would tell the crowd, I live for this. He's right. He does. Then when you see night 2, Stephanie McMahon would come out, introduce herself to the crowd. Not that anybody didn't know who she was. Get the crowd ready for WrestleMania Night 2. But I think as a whole, you could very, very quickly see Triple H's hands and his little fingerprints all over this premium live event pay-per-view. You would see wrestlers, quote, get their flowers, meaning they would get their moments. You would see surprises in both nights. And you would see titles change hands. Only 2 in the whole company would not change hands throughout the weekend. That was Rhea Ripley, who would defeat Becky Lynch. Rhea Ripley is the future of the company. There's no question about it. You would see Cody Rhodes. You would see The Rock come back Saturday night. You come back Sunday night too. The big tag team match between Rock, Roman Reigns, The Bloodline, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins on Saturday night. It was supposed to be a normal tag team match. Very, very quickly, it became very evident that that was not going to be a normal match. You had The Rock cuss out the referee, told the ref stop counting or you're going to be effing fired. We would see a low blow happen to Cody, and the referee literally looked at Cody and say, I'm sorry. Same thing with Seth Rollins. You would see Seth Rollins hit with a low blow, then thrown into the ropes, and just literally be holding himself, running on the ropes. So you got an idea of the links and the depths that The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, will go to not only push his power, but use his power. You would see Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes fall on night 1, meaning night 2, last night, the championship match for the Universal Championship between Roman Reigns, at-time champion, and Cody Rhodes, the challenger last night, would be a Bloodlines rules match. Now, nobody knows what the heck that means. Nobody knew what the heck that means. It just basically meant there were no rules. We'll get into last night later in the week. I don't want to just dive into everything today. We've got enough. There's plenty of time this week. We can spread all this out. But I thought as a whole, the event was incredible. Of course, tonight's always going to be exciting. The Raw after Mania, you never know what's going to happen. The crowd's always on fire. Somebody always pops up. There's generally a debut. But we would see Drew McIntyre to start out night 2, defeat Seth Rollins. He got his moment in front of a WrestleMania crowd, which he hadn't gotten before because the last time he won the championship over Brock Lesnar, it was in the Performance Center in the Thunderdome. First Mania with no one there. Empty arena. We would see him get his flowers, get the win, pomp and circumstance. And then he would go tease CM Punk, and we would see Punk then engage back with him, knock him down, knock him over, knock him out. And then we would see what I said last week on the show when I went through all the matches. I figured this would happen, and it did. Senior Money in the Bank, Damian Priest would cash in. Not only cash in, but he would cash in successfully and get the massive, massive win to become the first Puerto Rican world champion since Pedro Morales in 1952. So kudos to to Damian Priest, because that's big. Now you've got Damian Priest with a belt. You've got Rhea Ripley with a belt. Now, what about the rest of Judgment Day? We would see Damian Priest and Finn Balor lose the titles. They were the undisputed unified titles champion. We would see them drop those titles in a ladder match, 6-pack ladder match, where we would see somebody else get their flowers, which is crazy to me that Ron Killings, a.k.a. R-Truth, is 52 years old. Been with WWE for what feels like 25 years now. He would get his first WrestleMania win as him and Miz, or they call themselves the Awesome Truth. Him and Miz are now tag team champions. They're the Raw tag team champions. So when I mentioned earlier about Triple H and just seeing his fingerprints all over this pay-per-view, and really all over everything leading up to it. But when you look at some of the decisions that he's made, and you go behind the curtain, and you look at some of the producers that are in place, of course you got the legendary names Bruce Pritchard, Michael P.S. Hayes, and others. But you've got guys like Jason Jordan. You've got guys like Bobby Roode, who would produce the beatdown that The Rock would give Cody Rhodes just a few weeks back. We would see him beat the mess out of Cody Rhodes. Bobby Roode was your producer on that. But then you would see last night, the final match, the Bloodline Rules match, you would see Bobby Roode was the producer of that match as well. And if you went back and watched that match, it's extremely talented. Bobby Roode produced a beautiful match. Triple H is giving guys, Paul Levesque, Triple H, is giving guys opportunities that I don't feel like were there before because of the lack of creative. Now there's more freedom. Now there's more go do your thing. You go have fun. It wasn't like that before. Triple H even talked about it in the post in the presser afterwards. That he was proud of this moment. And guys, let's be honest. If Paul Heyman breaks his speech during Friday night's Hall of Fame speech to stop and turn around and tell not only the fans and the wrestlers that were there how important this new era is under Triple H, Paul Levesque, but to tell the world that as well in only the eloquent way that Paul Heyman can. But for him to turn around and say that he is a Paul Levesque guy should speak volumes to wrestling fans around the world. Volumes. I thought the premium live event was good. I thought it was entertaining. I mean, you're always going to have a little filler match here. You're always going to have a squash match here. I get that. I really didn't feel like there was a whole lot of wasted time here. Um, Saturday night was good. I thought last night was really good. Both nights combined. They say every year it's the greatest WrestleMania ever. I think this one, I think it was. I mean, I think it was good. I think it was a great. Actually, I think it was great. Not good. I think it was great. West Pruitt, 4 Star Sports Media. You're sitting down at the sports buffet right now. We got a plate full of sports for you. We started off with John Calipari coming to Arkansas. Crazy news. That story's not done. That story's going to continue to build, continue to get better, continue to get bigger. Now we're talking WrestleMania. Quick little recap of the other night. But what a weekend. And what a week. If you're a sports fan, what a week. Don't forget there's a national championship game tonight between UConn and Purdue. Can Purdue stop UConn is the question. But I mean, you've got MLB baseball going on. You got an incredible NASCAR race yesterday, right there in Martinsville, Virginia. And you had a Memphis baseball team who's now 17-17 on the year, 5-4 in conference play, the American. Went down to Houston, and by the time that game was over, the fans of Rice were letting them know, Houston, we have a problem. Memphis would go do something that they haven't done since 2012, and that is go on the road and get a win, not just a win, but a sweep of a conference opponent. Dropped down Rice to 9-23 overall, 1-8 in the conference. Like I said, first time taking all 3 games since May 17th through 19th of 2012, when they would knock off Rice when they were Conference USA opponents. Memphis is now in a 3-way tie for 4th place in the conference with the sweep. Matt Reiser, head coach Memphis baseball, would say, we talked about it early in the season. When you got a chance to sweep, you have to sweep. At the end of the year, you'll look up and the top two spots might be separated by a game or two. Same thing with the middle of the pack and the bottom of the pack. So to sweep and take that extra game and go 3-0 makes a difference at the end of the season, end quote. Reiser would go on to say it was a, quote, great weekend for Memphis baseball. It's the first sweep of the season since sweeping South Florida last year. And it's the first time that Memphis has taken all 3 games on the road since 2022 when they did it against Samford. And like I said earlier, first time since 2012 when they walked in, beat Houston in 2012. Braylon Sanders comes away with another save, 7th save on the year. That's conference leading, by the way. Jake Curtis was credited with the win after 2 scoreless innings of relief. Jake Curtis, incredible ball player, dual position player. Jake Compton, Seth Cox also recorded a hit and drove in runs in the big 2-1 win yesterday afternoon over the Rice Owls. Like I said, Memphis 17-17 on the season, 5-4 in conference play. And up next, they hit the road. They come over to Conway, Arkansas for a midweek game against the 13 and 18 Central Arkansas tomorrow night, 6 p.m. And then the Tigers will host UTSA in a big time conference matchup. Big time. Big time conference matchup coming up this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, out at FedEx Park. We've been saying it all year. You can listen to us if you want. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But we understand this baseball team is very talented. We know this baseball team is very talented. We know this coaching staff is very talented. We know this coaching staff is working and grinding to be the best they can be. If you've watched Matt Reiser, if you've listened to Matt Reiser throughout the year, he's been telling you this day was coming. A sweep was coming. This program playing better baseball was coming. And Memphis is starting to play really good when it matters most. Conference play. 5-4 in conference, tied for fourth. They can make some noise. Keep an eye on this Memphis baseball team. We're just telling you, keep an eye on this Memphis baseball team. Because they're big. It's big time. It's big time. I mean, can you really? I mean, let's go look at what all Matt Reiser's had to do this year, and we've talked about this. He re-recruited the roster that he currently had coming in. He had to turn around and go re-recruit the local kids to make sure they stay. Not just local, but anybody on the recruiting. But he went local. He started in Memphis, and he built from there. That's what it's all about. Just like Memphis Spence and I talked about earlier with John Calipari, one thing we know about John Calipari is he's going to come in and he's going to keep the in-state kids there. Something Eric Musselman didn't do very well at Arkansas. Very crazy stuff. Speaking of crazy stuff, we would see maybe one of the craziest things I think I've ever seen. Last week, when the Memphis Showboats, I mean, I really don't know. I mean, I know what happened, but you can't lose like they did. They were 1-0 coming into the week, taking on the Houston or the San Antonio Brahmas. Talented baseball team. I mean football, sorry. Talented football team. This UFL is a lot of fun. I enjoy the aspects of the Memphis Showboats. I enjoy all the different cameras, different little nuances that you get to find out. But I mean, you can't lose like that. You can't be up 15-0 and then lose. And a lot of the fans are like, I don't understand it. You know, you're going to go for an onside kick, but then the team begs for the ball. They didn't beg for the ball. That's a rule in the league. It is. It's a rule in the league. And it's a rule that, when used correctly, can be effective, as we learned. But the Memphis Showboats got the win week 1, 18-12 over the Houston Roughnecks. Big win, 18-12 over them. On the road, by the way. But then they come back home. They come to Memphis. There was an announced crowd of 8,000. a little over 8,000 people. I've spoken with some people that were there, including our photographer Madison Pinke. By the way, if you don't follow her on X at 4-star Maddie. Does an amazing job. He's got some amazing pictures from the game there with the Memphis Showboats. And here's the thing. This is a new joined league. Yes, they were in the USFL last year. I've seen some reports that the crowd wasn't the best. I've also talked to some people that have told me that maybe the Showboats need to do a little bit better job of promoting towards their fans. Regardless of what it is, there's talent on that field. You lose 20-19. The Brahmas scored 20 points in the fourth quarter. All of their points came in the fourth quarter. They would outgain the Showboats 310 to 288 on the day. 274 of that for the Brahmas would come through the air, only 36 on the ground. The Showboats, on the other hand, would have a little more of a balanced offense with 176 through the air and 112 on the ground. Case Cookers would finish 17 to 31, 194, and 1 touchdown. Meanwhile, on the Brahmas side of things, like I said, 29 of 40, 287, 3 touchdowns, 1 interceptions for the quarterback, Chase Garbers, for the Brahmas. But, that hurts, man. That hurts. When you look at the point after, of course, we know there's 2 points, there's 3 points. They would have a total of 2 PAT points. They would be 1 of 3. They got a 2-point pass. They missed on the 3-point pass, missed on the 3-point, on the 2-point run. And I enjoyed that. A lot of people complained, oh, well, that's dumb. I don't understand why they're doing that. The team's begging for the ball. They're not begging for the ball. They completed a 4th and 25 or whatever it is. You got to stop them. That's how it works. You got to make the stop. It's just that easy. You've got to make the stop. There's no real complaining that the Brahmas got that opportunity because you didn't stop them. Period. And you had a chance to. So up next, it doesn't get any easier. Because they take off and they're heading to Birmingham to take on the Stallions. We'll be on the press conference call today with offensive coordinator Doug Martin and wide receiver Dawood Davis. There's also another one tomorrow with defensive coordinator Carnell Lake and a selected defensive player. We'll give you an update on that tomorrow. Then Wednesday, Coach Flip back in the house with another media press call with him as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. This league is a lot of fun. This team's a lot of fun to cover. We are credentialed with them. We are credentialed with the UFL as well as many others. And we're going to continue to grow here at 4-Star Sports Media. We got Northwest Arkansas's Naturals going on. We'll get into them tomorrow and the rest of the week as they've got a big series coming up next week. We'll get into the MLB. We'll get into the Royals. We'll get into the Royals' entire minor league system. And we'll get into more of the John Calipari to Arkansas talk as this story is really just getting started. Like I said, head over to 4star.live. It's our website. You can check out all of our content there, our articles, our podcasts such as this as well. Don't forget, guys, Hogs Happy Hour generally comes on a Thursday. They're going to come to you on a Monday this week with a special report talking all things Arkansas Razorback as they piggyback off of this, talk about their own version of the story with John Calipari coming over to Arkansas. We'll hear from Blake. We will hear from Ashton and more. We'll give their thoughts, their takes on Calipari and what they are looking forward to. All that, like I said, starting tonight, should start around 5 p.m. Check it out over on 4 Star Sports Media socials, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and more. But yeah, I mean, what a week. What a weekend of sports. And then what a week. You've got the Masters coming up this weekend. You've got Live Golf just finished up in Miami yesterday. It's been a wild, wild, wild time. UFL is getting cranked up. Like I said, Memphis takes on Birmingham this week. I know my guy Philip Jordan over at the Spring Football Report is probably going to be pretty excited about that game because I know Philip is a big, big Birmingham guy. Looking forward to it, though. Memphis and Birmingham, of course, they battled last year in the USFL. They're going to continue to battle this year in the UFL. And really, this season is just now getting started. It's just now getting started. Now, we did see the Michigan kicker nail another 60-plus yarder for the Panthers again this week. He was a former kickoff specialist for the University of Arkansas. Now the kicker, field goal kicker for the Michigan Panthers. But we will dive more into this, like I said, as the week goes. We'll get more into games. We'll get to talk about Memphis, Birmingham, St. Louis Battlehawks, and more. The big story of the day, I mean, rightfully so, is John Calipari is a Razorback. And this is not like you're playing NCAA March Madness and you can go make changes and you can put him on the staff. No, he's really, like, this is real. And as crazy as this is, as wild as this day is going to be with the eclipse that's coming over the state of Arkansas and going all the way across the nation, the craziest story is that John Calipari is a Razorback. And that by the way, I want to make sure that we say his name, John Calipari. It's not John Calipari. It's John Calipari. A lot of people mispronounce that name. And a lot of people mispronounce, like I said earlier, when we were talking about this, there's going to have to be some apologies set forth by fans, not only to John Calipari, but to Hunter Yurachek. He didn't fumble this one. I can tell you that. What he did was he made a splash, and he made it to where Arkansas basketball is on a national level because everyone is going to be talking about it, including the guys talking about the Final Four tonight, the national championship. That conversation is going to be a little bit skewed towards, they're going to mention John Calipari leaving Lexington, going to Fayetteville. A lot of NIL money coming his way. And it's going to be different to see Calipari in Razorback red versus Kentucky blue. Like I said, we got an article on it right now, and there's more to come. But we got an article on it right now. It posted last night about 10:30 p.m. John Calipari is a Razorback. He will be announced tomorrow as the 14th official head coach of the University of Arkansas Razorbacks. What a wild time right now in sports. What a wild time. Like I said, Arkansas right now has one player on their roster, and that is an incoming freshman, as Trevin Brazil would announce today he was going to the NBA draft. It's going to be a wild time in Fayetteville. Got a lot going on. You got the Arkansas Razorbacks, the number one baseball team in the country. You got the Arkansas Razorbacks gymnastics teams heading to nationals. Spring football is cranking up. You got spring football game coming up this weekend. You got spring football game coming up next weekend in Memphis. That's going to be another team to really keep an eye on this year. As Seth Hennigan's back for his 4th year. It's been a lot of fun. This show's been a lot of fun. I'm about to jump off here and jump over on a Twitter space with Jason Patterson to talk more about Arkansas Razorbacks, John Calipari, and more. But we'll be back tomorrow right here on the Sports Buffet, presented to you by 4-Star Sports Media. Tomorrow we'll be talking more John Calipari, as I feel like this story is just going to continue to evolve as the week goes. But tomorrow we'll dive into the Northwest Arkansas Naturals, into their games over the weekend. We'll also have a guest tomorrow, as we'll be talking to the 1-Star Sports Podcast, also known as the guys who interviewed Hunter Yurachek last week. So we'll get them in here and maybe even bring this story to a full circle as we get their take on not only Yurachek and how the interview went with him, but what has transpired since that interview. That'll be tomorrow on the show. Wednesday, we got John Sturdivant coming back in, talking more wrestling and high school prep sports with John. It's going to be a wild week. It's going to be busy. It's going to be fun. And we're here for it, guys. You need anything, holler at us. As always, guys, like, follow, share, subscribe, and have a good day. Sports Buffet, 4-Star Sports Media, right here where it's at. Getting your fix day in, day out. Guys, if you need a fix on tickets before we get out of here, head over to SeatGeek. Put that promo code right there in. If you do put the promo code in, it will knock $20 off the ticket price. SeatGeek, we love SeatGeek and we want you to love it as well. Thanks for watching and listening today. For Wes Pruitt and all of us here at 4-Star Sports Media, have a good evening.